Hello, star people. My name is Christopher, the AstroMedium, and your host, intuitive astrologer for tonight's weekly cosmic forecast. We're going to be taking a look at the astrological energies for the week of April 11th through the 17th. We're going to take a look at these energies day by day, look at a lot of the moon transits, get a feel for the mood of the day, and then we'll go back later in the video and dissect some of these larger energy signatures that are at play that the moon is going to be activating this week. This upcoming week is extremely extreme and very hot, like lava. There's so much energy coming in, lots of heat, lots of things rising to the surface, lots of things being unearthed for us. So Venus is one of the key players. She's having some conversations. She's about to take a little trip into another sign. The sun is having some conversations. Mercury is having some supportive conversations. Jupiter's in the mix. Mars is probably the biggest and star of this week, the biggest player of this week. And also the North Node is in the mix, and Juno. You don't hear me talking about Juno very much, but I'm going to talk about her tonight because she's a very important key player this week. So we've got difficult conversations between some of these planets. We've got very supportive and powerful conversations between these planets. All of it is for your highest good. All of it is moving you into a greater understanding of yourself, your life, and what you want. So let's take a look at these energies day by day. Let's start with Sunday, April 11th. We are going to start this week off with a motherfucking bang. This is the day of the new moon in Aries. Of course, the sun and the moon are going to form a conjunction. This is what creates a new moon in the sign of Aries. This will occur at 10:31 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, the moon is going to have some conversations that day that are going to be very activating. The moon is an activator. The moon rules the subconscious, how you get your emotional needs met, but the moon makes things feel like something for you. So these larger energy signatures, and basically what I mean by that is we've got planets like Mercury, Venus, Mars, the sun. These are the inner planets, and then the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, the asteroids, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. All of these planets have conversations with each other, the outer and the inner, and vice versa. But the moon activates them. The moon has conversations with all these planets daily because it moves so quickly through the zodiac. Now, the moon is going to make a supportive sextile to Saturn on the same day as this new moon. So that's going to give us some emotional resilience, and we are going to need it because the moon is going to be in Aries. She does not do well in Aries. Aries is very selfish, very ego-driven, and the moon is not about that. The moon is a subconscious energy. It does not operate within the frequency range of the ego. This is important though, because we've got several key players here in this Aries party. The sun and the moon are there forming this new moon, but they're joined by Mercury, Venus, Chiron, and Ceres, another asteroid goddess like Juno, all in the sign of Aries. The temperature is hot. It's boiling to the surface, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and rules the first house of new beginnings and the self. So we are focusing more on us. Do you, baby? That's what this is all about. Now, the moon is going to join forces and make a conjunction with Mercury. That's really good. That's going to highlight the mind. That's going to be a lot of communication that can happen that day, a lot of getting to the bottom of something. But the moon is also going to make a sextile to the North Node. The moon is activating something here. Now, on the same day as this new moon in Aries, we have a beautiful supportive conversation between Mercury and the North Node. Mercury is going to make a sextile to the North Node, which is a 60-degree angle, and we're going to talk about that energy later in the video. However, Venus, she is in Aries and she's feeling feisty. She's feeling so brave that she's going to decide to fuck with Pluto, and she's going to make a 90-degree angle, which is a square, tense and conflicting, to Pluto. That is very intense. It's going to create some relational dynamics or bring some relationship dynamics to the surface around abuse and control. Again, we'll go into these larger energy signatures later, but this is being activated for us. Now let's move to Monday, April 12th. Speaking of being activated, the moon on this day is going to make a square to Pluto. So there's going to be an intense mood to this day. There's going to be a lot of energy, however, as the moon makes a sextile to Mars and Jupiter, and this is also activating. So as the moon makes a square to Pluto, she activates that square between Venus and Pluto. But the moon is also going to have a supportive conversation with the god of war and the biggest planet, the most benefic, the most benevolent, the most fortunate planet, Jupiter. And that's going to activate a large energy signature, which I'm so excited for, which will happen on April 17th, and we'll talk about that. Now, the moon is also going to make a conjunction to Venus, which will then further activate that Venus square Pluto energy. So whatever comes up for you during this new moon, I want you to pay attention to it the next day. Relationships are something that we are reevaluating at this time. Now, the moon is going to enter Taurus at 1:44 p.m. Eastern time, so that's going to change the pace and the mood of the day. But Juno, I don't talk about her enough. And Juno's in Sagittarius right now, which is very interesting. Juno, like Venus, has a lot to do with relationships, but Juno is not about pleasure like Venus. Juno is about contracts, marriage, but also contracts and agreements that you have made with your landlord, with the person you bought this product from. She rules that agreement you make with somebody, and marriage is one of those contractual agreements. So Juno on Monday is going to begin her retrograde journey through Sagittarius. So as Juno goes retrograde, this is going to be from April 12th through August 2nd. There's a very specific energy that comes up there, and themes are going to rise to the surface around our obligations to other people. This we're going to talk about later. Now let's move to Tuesday, April 13th. This is going to be a very exciting day, very enlivening, very electrifying. The temperatures are going to rise. There are things coming to the surface, boiling to the surface. The moon is going to make a conjunction to Uranus. This is meaningful. Not only is this going to create some excitement, this is going to a need to do something new that day, break the cycle that the monotonous cycle that you're in. The moon is, however, also going to make a tense square to Saturn. This is important, not only because moon square Saturn creates loneliness, isolation, and us wanting to be hard on ourselves. There's more expectation with moon square Saturn that we feel we have to live up to. This conversation, these conversations that the moon is having, is going to specifically activate the Saturn-Uranus square, which is the largest energy signature that is occurring this year in 2021. Now, we have the sun having some very supportive conversations that day. The sun is going to make a sextile, a 60-degree angle to Mars, and then make a very powerful supportive trine to Juno. However, although they're having those conversations, Mars, although he's receiving support from the sun, he's going to oppose Juno all on the same day. So you have this large organism happening here, and we're going to dissect that larger energy later. Now let's move to Wednesday, April 14th. This is going to be somewhat of a dreamy day. The moon is going to make a sextile to Neptune. Of course, that's going to increase psychic abilities, and it's going to make our dreams very vivid. It's also going to create kind of a dreamy energy about the day, especially as the moon makes a trine to Pluto. So there's something that we're moving through that's transforming us, and there's a empowerment, there's emotional resilience that comes with that. The moon, however, is going to form a conjunction and join forces with Lilith, Black Moon Lilith. Lilith is a very interesting energy in astrology. If you're not familiar with that energy, you should definitely look that up right now. What's my Lilith sign? Now there's a few different ones, so you want to say, what's my Black Moon Lilith sign? And Lilith is currently in the sign of Taurus. So the moon, as the moon travels through Taurus, the moon's going to make that conjunction, and Lilith is a lot like Pluto in a lot of ways. Lilith is kind of a mixture between Venus, Mars, and Pluto all together. She's feisty, she's rebellious, or excuse me, Venus, Pluto, and Uranus. She is so rebellious and feisty, and she's not afraid to go to the dark side and the wild side as well. She's a very strong female archetypal figure. Also, another female archetypal figure that's very important and important to us right now is Venus. So Venus is going to exit the fiery war zone of Aries and enter the sensorial, romantic, and sentimental world of Taurus. And Venus is going to be in her rulership. She does very well in Taurus, and she loves to be there. So that's an exciting energy that's coming this week that's going to feel really good to us. Venus in Aries has been somewhat challenging. She doesn't do very well in Aries, and we'll talk about that later. Now let's move to Thursday. April 15th, the moon is going to enter Gemini at 2:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is going to really activate that Mars energy, as Mars is currently in Gemini. The moon is going to square Vesta and sextile Chiron that day. So what that tells me is we've got some healing that's going to come up for us. There are things that came up for us during that new moon because Chiron is part of that Aries party and is part of the energy signature around the new moon. So there are things physically, very real, viscerally, that we're healing, and also healing to the ego. Speaking of ego, the sun is having a very important and positive conversation with Jupiter, one of my favorite planets, Sun sextile Jupiter. I'm going to talk about more of that later. It is it's like good luck, good fortune, full of confidence. So such a good mood that we'll be in most of that day. Now let's move to Friday, April 16th. This is going to be probably the most tense and difficult day. The new moon has its challenges, but it's going to be very energizing in certain ways. It's going to bring us back into it's going to replenish our vital energy reserves. Friday, April 16th yields a very different type of experience. The moon is going to make a trine to Saturn and a conjunction to the North Node. Why is this important? Because this is going to activate a larger energy signature that is currently building as we speak. This is Saturn's beautiful trine to the North Node, which occurs on April 24th. And we are going to begin that process of putting more work into getting to our purpose and on our path on Friday. It's really going to kick in for us. The moon is also going to make a square to Neptune and Pallas, who are both in Pisces. That's very sensitizing. Hypersensitivity can happen, paranoia, taking things the wrong way, too much stimuli, need to go inside, not understanding things for what they really are can create confusion as you're not seeing things and feeling from a realistic standpoint. Now things get even more extreme as the sun makes a square to Pluto. Again, Pluto's getting fucked with hard this week. And you're not supposed to fuck with Pluto. He will destroy you. He will transform you. But you're getting destroyed in the process. I mean, I don't know about you, but if the caterpillar knew that it was going to become just a blob of goo inside of that cocoon, it might not do it. So there's sometimes we don't need to know what's coming. We just need to go through it. And this is going to be rather difficult because when the sun and Pluto have a difficult conversation, that's ego death. Now let's move to Saturday, April 17th. This is going to be an amazing day. It's the most energy-packed day of the entire week. We're going to send this week off with a bang. The moon is going to enter her ruling sign of Cancer at 3:25 p.m. Eastern Time. The moon is going to make a supportive sextile to Mercury. The moon is going to make a supportive trine to Jupiter. The moon is going to join forces with Mars in a conjunction. And all of that is important because Mercury, Mars, and Jupiter are the stars of Saturday, April 17th. The moon is also going to make a sextile to Venus and oppose Juno, which is going to activate that Mars opposition to Juno on the 13th. So be mindful of that, especially because Mars is very active on Saturday, but mostly supported. So it may drown out any kind of conflict that's happening. Mercury is going to make a sextile to Jupiter, a sextile to Mars. And as Mercury is offering support to those two are making an extremely powerful and supportive trine to each other. Mars is making this trine to Jupiter, and we need this now. We need this drive. We need this ability to move forward with confidence and luck on our side. And positivity, so much positivity and optimism that comes from Jupiter energy. Now, the thing about Saturday is that Mercury is going to follow Venus and the sun in making a square to Pluto. So our minds make it a little bit deeper. We're going to be looking deeper into things, sometimes too deep, getting too extreme. Our ideas are too extreme. And there's a tendency to want to control things when Pluto's being squared. So this week is a lot about getting into your body, deciding what you want, where you're wanting to go next, how you want to get there, and what you're taking enjoyment in. And how you can move through experiences that train you to not force or control something. See, Pluto and Mars are really the two big stars this week, but they're also joined by Mercury, Jupiter, which is the lower mind and the higher mind, and Venus and Juno, relationships and relational contracts, and then the North Node, your soul's trajectory, where you're going, your purpose, your path. So much is being revealed to us now, but can you let go? Can you accept? And can you allow the experience to unfold as it's supposed to, instead of forcing it into being, which does not always yield the result that your higher self and your soul have the intention for? So now that we've taken a look at the energies day by day, and we're getting a feel for their mood. What's the mood going to be like? What's the cosmic weather going to be? Let's look at these larger energy signatures more in depth. We are going to start the week with something so important. The beginning of the week truly is the beginning of the year. Now, the beginning of the astrological year was obviously March 20th when the sun entered Aries, but this is the new moon in Aries. A new moon is the conjunction of the sun and the moon. That's the consciousness, the ego, the sense of self. The energies you're becoming, aligning with the energies that you already are, your default, your subconscious programming, your emotional states, how energy moves through you, and how you respond to all of this that's happening out here. This joining usually brings us very inward, and it still will during this new moon in Aries, but Aries is a very explosive energy, very childish, but very exciting and very physical. So there's something physical that needs to happen here. There are emotions coming to the surface that want to release. Chiron is in Aries, Mercury, Venus, Ceres. So there are themes coming up for us that are all surrounding the self, the ego, getting very sure about who you are and who they are as well. But before you can go out here, you have to go inward and focus on the self so you can replenish. Your cells are craving your attention. And maybe it's taking time off, maybe it's relaxing, but with this Mars energy and this Aries energy, this is just about doing things that you want to do when you want to do it. Aries is all about self-expression and autonomy and freedom, freedom to be the true self. Now, when it comes to relationships, this is where things are going to get a little bit extreme, as relationship dynamics that are not so healthy are going to rise to the surface for you. There may be some tendencies to want to control other people. Venus is making this square to Pluto on the same day as the new moon. Now Venus just is about to make a supportive sextile to Jupiter on Saturday, April 10th. That is beautiful. That's lots of new abundance that's coming our way that you can pull in. But that square to Pluto is meaningful. It's wanting to transform something. It's wanting to bring something up that you didn't know about before. Maybe you're going to realize, I am who I am. I love myself. I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to do me. I'm going to give back to myself. And then you suddenly realize, I have people in my life that don't value me for who I really am. I have people in my life that want to control me and turn me into something else. I have people in my life that I don't even really enjoy being around. What the fuck am I doing? I also need to turn my attention back to myself, and then I need to ask, I have a lot of desires. Sometimes I have desires that I want to control. Sometimes there are people and experiences that I'm wanting to control and have power over. Maybe it's not them, maybe it's you. And that's what's so sensitizing about this new moon, is a lot of these realizations you may come to will be focused about in your direction. You're going to have to take this personally and take responsibility for that. And Aries doesn't like doing that. Aries just wants to gloss over that, move to the next thing and forget about it. Now, thankfully, the gift is that Chiron is involved. Chiron is going to bring some things to the surface for you. There's healing to the ego. There's healing to the self-esteem and also to the body. There will be some strong ascension symptoms that happen around this new moon in Aries regarding purging, skin breakouts, itchiness, digestive issues. There's going to be some restlessness, anxiety, frustration coming up. But this is also new beginnings. This is new, fresh energy. Yes, the new astrological year began on March 20th, but every new moon is the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. This is truly the new beginning. This is the launching pad. We are going into a new phase here. 2020 was out with the old, but 2021 is in with the new, and this is truly the new beginning that we've been waiting for. Now, around this new moon, you're also going to have a lot of focus on your purpose and your path as Mercury makes his sextile to the North Node, or Rahu as they call him in Vedic astrology. This is important because as you're focusing on yourself, reevaluating relationships, trying to let go of a lot of relationships or tendencies that you have to control or try to possess other people, you might start saying, I've got to let go of these things. I need to be more free. I need to be doing what I want to do with my life. And where am I going? What's the next thing for me? Am I fulfilling my purpose? Do I feel in alignment with what I came here to do? And the North Node is not a conscious energy necessarily. You'll feel this energy as just a general feeling of feeling in alignment or not, or feeling like you're where you're supposed to be or not. It's not necessarily you know why. And this is important because as you're moving into this new direction, sometimes the soul is calling you in a direction that does not involve other people. And sometimes letting go of people is not easy because you have created a contract with them. Now, at a soul level, there are soul contracts, but here down on earth, we have relational contracts. And contracts and agreements basically set up an energy that doesn't necessarily trap you, but also doesn't give you your freedom either. And this is where Juno comes into the picture. Now, Juno is in Sagittarius, like I said. So Juno is all about contracts, marriage, that agreement that you've made. And for Juno to be in Sagittarius, that's a strange energy because Sagittarius is so freedom oriented, does not want to be bound by that type of an agreement. So Juno's already in a sign that she is not so sure how to operate within. And on Monday, April 3rd or April 12th, she's going to go retrograde. And this is going to last from April 12th through August 2nd. This is going to bring up themes for us at this time around agreements that we've made with other people. Sometimes you feel obligated to other people. You don't necessarily enjoy them. You don't like the interaction with them. You feel you need them or they need you, and that you're just there because you made an agreement. And some of us, not all, but some of us have entered marriages and relationships that we have a contract and agreement within, and we're not happy. And that's what's going to come up at this time. So right after Juno goes retrograde, Mars is going to get his hot hands on her, and he is forceful and he can be a little abusive. Mars is very masculine, and so he can just be he can rough people up when he's in difficult conversations with them. And Mars is going to make a 180-degree opposition to Juno. That's going to cause us to put more energy into our partnerships that are agreed upon or contractual. That's great, but oppositions can often yield a choice that needs to be made. So I do feel as much energy as we'll put into it, there may be some things, some frustration, some anger that comes up within this around not being able to be ourselves because Mars rules Aries. So this Aries energy is being activated by all this Mars activity. So there are relational stuff that's coming up, but you can see yourself as someone who can exist within a partnership and a relationship in a strong, steady, stable way. And that is going to really intensify as the sun makes a trine to Juno on the same day. Now, as Mars and the sun both have this conversation with Juno, sun is really supporting her. So as she's getting roughed up a little bit, she's getting an even just as strong energy from the sun to help her embody who she really is and stay strong in who she really is. While they're doing that, the sun and Mars are going to also have a conversation with each other. So the sun is going to receive or Mars is going to receive a supportive energy from the sun as well in a sextile, all on the same day. So although things are coming to the surface, we're feeling more safe to release these contracts and to end these agreements because we are starting to know who we are. And when the sun makes a sextile to Mars, we have more energy, we have more vitality, we're ready to get shit done, we're ready to move forward, we are feeling more confident. Now this confidence is going to increase as the sun moves into, just a couple days later, into a very supportive conversation between Jupiter and the sun. So this is good luck, good fortune. Now, I don't know about you. I don't believe in good luck and good fortune. I believe in positivity, attracting positivity. And that's what Jupiter is all about. Positivity, optimism, the way you're looking at something, your philosophies on things. And when the sun is involved in a positive transit with Jupiter, this is invincibility. It's good luck. You have luck and good fortune and positivity on your side. Might as well put your Superman cape on. With Mars and Jupiter both forming a trine to each other at the end of the week, and the sun sextiling both of them, we are going to be feeling pretty good about ourselves. We're going to be feeling like we can accomplish anything. We're ready to get it done, and we see ourselves as someone who can do that. We may not know what we're doing always, but we're ready to just go, and we're ready to do it big. Now, things are going to get really interesting as we start down this path and we start to put more energy into our desires and we start to do it big. We start to question ourselves. The reason we're going to question ourselves is the sun is going to follow Venus in making a square to Pluto. Now, Pluto is the great destroyer. Anytime you come up head to head with Pluto, he's going to win. Now, the great thing about his destruction is that there is no such thing as death. So there's a rebirth. There's something new that happens from your new state that he has put you in. Now, the sun is that ego, that conscious mind, that sense of self. So Pluto having a difficult conversation with the sun is going to cause ego death. I know this all so well as I experienced true ego death during plant medicine retreats and journeys, psychedelic experiences, and also during my Kundalini awakening. Scary shit we're talking about here, okay? This is going to be somewhat intense and extreme, especially on the same day the moon is making a square to Neptune. That's going to be, Friday is going to be probably the most difficult day of the whole week, but something really beautiful is going to come about from that. Pluto will unearth a lot of deep psychological fears that are going to play out in loop, and the ego is what's driving that. And the ego has a lot of fears as well. The ego will probably feed you some stories. These things are not true, and these things, a lot of them will be very extreme, things that will try to stop you from making your way down this path. However, although Pluto is very strong, there's so much Mars and Jupiter energy this week, it's probably going to drown that out. So although you're questioning yourself, you're noticing that the ego is telling you things, and these things aren't true, but it's still there, and you're still having a lot of anxiety or insecurities that are coming up. Jupiter and Mars are just going to keep pulling you in this new direction in such strong, fast, powerful ways. Now, Mercury is also in the mix, and Mercury, he rules the lower mind, the processing mind, mental processing, our day-to-day routines, conversations, getting to work, short-term travel. Jupiter is the higher mind, how you see things from a higher perspective, how you philosophize things, long-term travel, expanding yourself out into the world, and expansion of the mind. Mercury is going to make a beautiful sextile to Jupiter. We need this. That is the lower mind and the higher mind in agreement. They're offering support to each other. Mercury will also make a sextile to Mars on the same day. Mental energy. Mercury is in the sign that Mars rules while he has this supportive conversation. Amazing. This is what we needed. Mercury, however, is then going to follow the sun's lead in making a square to Pluto. So things may get a little intense. We may have ideas and opinions about things that go to the extreme. We may be holding on to things in our mind and not letting go. And also trying to control things, seeing things from a lens of control. Mars is being supported, but Mars can be somewhat forceful. Pluto, however, comes in, it's about control and power. Mars is force, but he doesn't have that power over things. That's where, when you have Mars and Pluto happening on the same day like that, there's something powerful and transformative that will happen. But what you need to do is let go and allow. Now, the most exciting energy of this week is going to send this week off with a bang, and that's Mars making a 120-degree angle trine to Jupiter. I am so excited for this energy. This is unending confidence. This is moving in directions in such big ways, making such progress towards your passionate pursuits, and not looking back and feeling like you can accomplish anything, and that no matter how you do it, no matter how forceful you are, no matter how offensive you are, you'll still land in the right spot, you'll still be well placed, and you'll still be well deserving of this, because you'll feel like you deserve it, like you should have it all. This Aries energy that has been building for you is trying to call you back into focusing on yourself, and there's a worthiness that comes from that. You're you, be happy with you, love you, and of course, you deserve all of that which you desire, and that's Mars trine Jupiter. So this week is yielding so much energy for you that it may make your head spin. It may get a little hot. You may have to step outside for a minute. You may have to do a ritual. So if you go to my Instagram page at the.astromedium, there is a new moon in Aries ritual available to you. And if you ritualize this new moon, all new and full moons, if you do a ritual, you're using that energy and not letting it use you. But with the new moon in Aries, there's so much physical energy that wants to come up. So this new moon ritual will center around a physical or active meditation, even breath work if you're able to do that, and also releasing something into a fire. It is very powerful in helping to move this energy, processing some emotions that are going to come to the surface, and getting your body back into good shape so it's able to move forward down this path and towards your passions with much more ease and much more strength. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you would like to contact me or book a reading with me, you can go to my website at www.christopherwithayMedium.com. If you are in the Atlanta area, you should join us for weekly astrology class. I am the in-house intuitive astrologer for Eclipse over Roswell here in Atlanta, Georgia. Even if you're not in the Atlanta area, you can join us over Zoom. But if you are in the Atlanta area and you would like to come, it's every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's $10. The class does get full, so if you're coming in person, you should pre-register, and that is visiteclipse.as.me/astro. And again, if you want to join on Zoom, it's unlimited. And again, it's every week. So all levels are welcome, whether you're experienced or you're very new to this. Join me. I cater the class to you. Okay, everyone, please utilize these energies. It's going to get hot. It's going to get wild. It's going to get exciting. So now you have a roadmap. Now you understand what's coming. Now you know what the mood of the days are going to be. Now you can take this week on. Take it by the horns, the ram's horns, and really get the most out of it. Thank you all, and have a good night.